Chapter 1. The Silent Weapon. Understanding Patience in Trading. In the world of trading, speed gets the spotlight. Every chart flashes, every second counts, every movement feels urgent. But beneath that chaos, there's a quiet force, one that separates the reckless from the consistent, the emotional from the elite. That force is patience. It doesn't shout, it doesn't chase, it waits. And in that waiting lies the power that most traders never master. This is the silent weapon, the discipline of patience, the unseen advantage that allows traders to thrive while others crumble under pressure. Most traders believe the secret to success is more action, more trades, more charts, more decisions. They feel that doing something must be better than doing nothing. But in trading, the market punishes the restless. It's a paradox. The more you try to control the market, the more it controls you. The harder you chase, the further consistency slips away. You might recognize the feeling, that twitch in your fingers when price moves fast, that urge to click buy before the candle closes, that voice whispering, if I don't take this trade, I'll miss out. That voice is not strategy, that's fear, disguised as opportunity. Patience, on the other hand, is quiet confidence. It's the ability to wait, not because you're afraid to lose, but because you know when not to play. The market doesn't pay the fastest. It pays the most disciplined. Every chart, every setup, every false breakout is a test, not of your technical skill, but of your emotional control. Imagine two traders watching the same setup. One enters early, chasing the candle. The other waits, calmly, deliberately, for confirmation. The first feels excitement, then regret. The second feels boredom, then clarity. And when the move finally comes, patience gets paid twice, once in profit and again in peace of mind. Restraint is not passive, it's powerful. It's the moment you say, I choose not to act because I control my impulses, not the market. Every impulsive decision has a hidden cost, not just in lost money, but in lost focus, lost discipline, and lost trust in yourself. It's easy to think of losses as technical mistakes, bad entries, wrong direction, poor timing, but deep down, most losses are emotional. They come from impatience, from the inability to sit in uncertainty without reacting. When you act on impulse, you tell your mind that emotions are in charge, and the mind learns quickly. Each emotional trade rewires your brain to seek that same short-term relief again. You start craving action instead of results. You start trading to feel something instead of waiting for the right conditions. That's how accounts drain silently, not from bad strategy, but from emotional exhaustion. The real enemy isn't the market, it's the lack of patience to let your edge unfold. Patience is not about doing nothing, it's about doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason. The market has its own rhythm, like an ocean tide. You can't force a wave to form before it's ready. You can only prepare to ride it when it arrives. Professional traders understand this rhythm. They spend more time observing than executing, more time thinking than reacting, because they know the waiting is the work. It's in the waiting that you strengthen your focus. It's in the waiting that you learn what not to do. And it's in the waiting that your true edge is born. In a world driven by alerts, notifications, and endless motion, stillness feels unnatural. We're wired to react, not to pause. But in trading, stillness is survival. It allows your mind to slow down enough to see clearly, to separate emotion from logic. Every moment you choose patience over impulse, you're rewiring your nervous system. You're teaching your brain that opportunity isn't lost when you wait, it's created when you wait. Stillness builds confidence, confidence builds patience, and patience builds mastery. That's how the best traders think. Calm minds, slow decisions, fast reactions when it truly matters. Patience isn't about one trade. It's about the long game, the mindset of consistency. A patient trader doesn't fear missing out because they understand. There's always another trade. There's always another setup. But there's only one mental state that matters: calm focus. Patience gives you clarity when everyone else is panicking. It turns chaos into opportunity. It transforms trading from a gamble into a craft. When you master patience, you master timing. When you master timing, you master results. And when you master yourself, the market follows. Patience is not a weakness. It's your strongest form of control. The silent weapon that allows you to trade from a place of peace, not pressure, from clarity, not chaos. Every great trader at some point learns this truth. The market rewards the ones who can wait. But waiting comes with a challenge, an internal battle between your impulses and your discipline, a war fought not on the charts, but in your own mind. And that's where we go next. In the next chapter, The Mind's Battlefield, where impulse meets discipline, we'll uncover the psychology behind those inner conflicts and learn how to win the war that every trader fights, the war within.
Chapter 2, The Mind's Battlefield, where impulse meets discipline. Inside every trader, there's a battle you can't see. It doesn't happen on the charts, it happens in the mind. A constant war between two voices, instinct and logic. One pushes you to act, the other tells you to wait. One whispers, "Take it now, before it's gone." The other calmly replies, "Stay still. The right moment will come." This silent conflict decides your future as a trader. Not the strategy, not the setup, but which voice you choose to follow. The human mind wasn't built for markets. It was built for survival. Thousands of years ago, reacting fast kept us alive. We didn't analyze, we ran, we fought. We grabbed the opportunity before someone else did. That same survival instinct lives inside you today. It's the reason you chase a moving chart. It's the reason you close a trade too soon. It's the reason you fear missing out. Your mind still believes you're fighting for survival, even when you're just watching a candlestick. The market becomes your jungle, and every tick of price feels like a predator or prey. But trading isn't about survival. It's about precision. It's about patience. It's about mastering those ancient instincts, not erasing them, but guiding them. That's the real battlefield. When you sit in front of your screen, your instincts want control. They crave certainty. They fear loss. They want to end discomfort as fast as possible. That's why you close winners early, to feel safe. That's why you revenge trade, to restore pride. That's why you overtrade, to escape boredom. Each impulse has a story. Each reaction has an emotional root. But discipline? Discipline speaks a different language. It doesn't rush. It doesn't fear silence. It trusts the process, even when the outcome is unknown. The disciplined trader still feels impulse, but doesn't obey it. They see emotion rise, acknowledge it, and return to structure.
That's the power of self-awareness, knowing that every emotion wants to lead you somewhere, but only logic knows the way. Imagine a trade setting up. The chart looks perfect. You've planned your entry, your stop, your target. Everything aligns. Then price hesitates. It pulls back slightly. You feel your chest tighten. Your mind starts racing. What if it runs without me? That's instinct speaking. It's trying to protect you from loss, but it doesn't realize that reacting now creates a bigger one. Discipline, on the other hand, whispers, wait. The market will confirm when it's ready. Your edge doesn't disappear in one candle. That's the war between short-term relief and long-term strength, between comfort and growth. The trader who wins that battle wins the game. Every impulsive trade feels logical in the moment. Your mind is clever. It justifies emotion with reason. You tell yourself, this setup looks good enough, or I'll just risk a small amount, or I can't miss this move. But underneath those justifications lies the same emotion: fear. Fear of loss, fear of missing out, fear of being wrong. The mind plays tricks because it doesn't want to feel pain. It seeks comfort, even when comfort destroys progress. That's why the strongest traders aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who feel the most and still stay calm. They've trained themselves to recognize emotional noise for what it is: a signal to slow down, not speed up. Think of your mind as two traders. The first is impulsive, emotional, restless, reactive. He wants excitement. He wants to win now. He doesn't care about process. He just wants to feel in control. The second trader is disciplined, calm, detached, methodical. He knows there's nothing to prove. He trusts the system even when it's uncomfortable. Both live inside you, and every trade is a negotiation between the two. The question is, who will you let take the next position? The disciplined trader doesn't silence emotion. They observe it. They use it as information. When fear appears, they don't fight it. They study it. When greed arises, they don't indulge it. They analyze it. When frustration builds, they step back and breathe. Because discipline isn't just control. It's understanding. It's self-awareness in motion. And when awareness deepens, emotion loses power. You start seeing every impulse not as a command, but as a clue, a sign pointing to where you still need growth. The real challenge isn't resisting emotion. It's recognizing it fast enough to stay objective. That moment when your heart speeds up, that's the sign. That moment when your finger hovers over the mouse, that's the test. That second of tension right before action, that's the battlefield. The market doesn't attack you. Your mind does. It whispers stories that make you doubt your plan, doubt your patience, doubt yourself. But every time you resist the urge to act without clarity, you win a small victory. And those small victories build emotional strength, one trade at a time. Over time, something changes. The voice of impulse grows quieter. The voice of logic grows stronger. You start trading slower, but thinking faster. You no longer need the market to move constantly. You wait for your setups with peace. You execute with precision, not emotion. And when the market tests you, you no longer react, you respond. That's the difference between average traders and disciplined ones. Average traders try to predict. Disciplined traders learn to wait. Because they understand the market doesn't reward the first mover. It rewards the calm observer. When you master this mental balance, trading becomes something else. It stops being a battle against the market and becomes a practice of mastering yourself. You realize every chart pattern is also a reflection of your emotional state. Every trade exposes how much control you truly have over your thoughts. And slowly, you begin to transform from the inside out, from emotional to composed, from reactive to focused. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a daily practice, a moment-to-moment awareness. But once you taste that stillness, once you experience trading from discipline instead of impulse, you'll never go back. Because discipline feels peaceful. Impulse feels chaotic. And your mind, deep down, always knows which one leads to freedom. The war between impulse and discipline never truly ends. But each time you choose awareness over reaction, you shift the balance a little more in your favor. You move closer to mastery, closer to control, closer to the calm trader you were meant to become. And as you continue this journey, you'll start to see emotions not as enemies, but as energy, waiting to be transformed. That transformation is where true mastery begins. And that's where we go next. In the next chapter, Emotional Alchemy, turning fear and greed into focus, we'll explore how to transmute raw emotion into clarity and how to transform fear into fuel, so you can trade not from reaction, but from power.
Chapter 3. Emotional Alchemy, turning fear and greed into focus. Every trader begins with emotion, the first trade, the first win, the first loss. Each moment lights up the nervous system, excitement, fear, euphoria, doubt. And somewhere along the journey, you realize something powerful. The charts aren't your biggest challenge. Your emotions are. Fear makes you hesitate when you should act. Greed makes you act when you should wait. Both cloud judgment, blur focus, and pull you away from logic. But here's the truth. Emotions aren't the enemy. They're energy, raw, powerful, neutral energy. It's how you use them that defines your success. That's the art of emotional alchemy, transforming fear and greed into clarity and control. Fear and greed exist in every trader every day. You can't erase them, you can only understand them. Fear shows up in many disguises: the fear of losing, the fear of missing out, the fear of being wrong, the fear of seeing red on your screen. Greed wears a different mask. It appears as ambition, confidence, even optimism. But beneath the surface, it's the hunger for more profit, more confirmation, more control. Both emotions speak the same language: attachment. Attachment to outcome, attachment to money, attachment to being right. And attachment is what traps traders in emotional cycles: up when winning, crushed when losing. The market becomes a mirror, reflecting your inner chaos back at you. But when you learn to detach, when you stop reacting and start observing, everything changes. The same emotions that once blinded you now become signals of awareness. Imagine this. You're in a trade. It moves in your favor. Your heart races. Your mind whispers, maybe I can hold a little longer, just a few more pips. That's greed, subtle, smooth, convincing. It doesn't scream, it seduces. Then, in another moment, the market turns. Your stop-loss nears. Your palms sweat, your stomach tightens, and you whisper, maybe it'll come back. That's fear. Protective, emotional, instinctive. Both emotions pull you out of alignment with your plan. They drag you from focus into reaction. But what if, instead of obeying them, you observed them? What if you looked at that same wave of emotion and thought, this is just energy. I don't have to react to it. That single shift from reacting to observing is where emotional mastery begins. Emotional alchemy starts with awareness. You cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. When fear rises, name it. When greed tempts, recognize it.
When frustration builds, breathe and observe it. Naming emotion weakens its control. Awareness dissolves its power. Because emotion thrives in darkness, in unconscious reaction. But the moment you bring it into the light of awareness, it transforms. It becomes information. It becomes a mirror. It becomes your teacher. Think of emotion as fire. Left uncontrolled, it burns everything. Your focus, your account, your confidence. But when directed, that same fire becomes energy. Powerful, productive, precise. Fear can become discipline. Greed can become ambition. Frustration can become reflection. You don't fight emotion, you channel it. That's what great traders do. When they feel fear, they use it to stay alert. When they feel greed, they use it to measure risk. When they feel doubt, they recheck logic. Every emotion becomes data, not danger. The shift from emotional reaction to calm observation isn't instant. It's a practice, a daily ritual of awareness. It begins with a breath. That's how you break the chain. Every time your body reacts, your pulse quickens, your jaw tightens, take a single deep breath. Not to suppress emotion, but to create space between feeling and action. That space is where clarity lives. That space is where your edge exists. Because the truth is, you can't trade without emotion, but you can trade without being emotional. That's the difference between control and chaos. Most traders build systems to control markets, but few build systems to control themselves. Your emotional process is part of your trading plan. Just like risk management, it needs structure. Ask yourself, what do I do when fear appears? What do I do when I'm tempted by greed? What do I do when emotions take over? If your answer is nothing, that's where the work begins. Start small. Journal after each trade, not just the entry and exit, but how you felt. Track patterns in emotion like you track patterns in price. You'll begin to see it, the correlation between emotional state and performance. You'll notice that your best trades didn't come from excitement or fear. They came from stillness. That's emotional alchemy in motion. There's a story among experienced traders. They say your first few years of trading are about learning the market, but your next years are about learning yourself. At first, you think trading is about prediction. Then you realize it's about reaction. And finally, you understand it's about observation. You don't need to eliminate emotion. You just need to rise above it. The goal is not to be emotionless. The goal is to be emotionally aware, to notice the storm, but remain the calm center within it. So the next time you feel fear, don't run from it. Study it. Ask it, what are you trying to protect me from? And when you feel greed, don't shame it, understand it. Ask it, what are you trying to give me? Both emotions have purpose. One guards your safety, the other drives your ambition. But both must serve your focus, not sabotage it. When you guide emotion with awareness, it becomes strength. When you suppress it, it becomes chaos. Mastering emotional alchemy means learning to convert every feeling into focus, every moment of doubt into discipline, every flicker of greed into gratitude, every flash of fear into awareness. Because when emotion no longer drives you, it empowers you. When you can feel deeply yet act calmly, you've reached the state all traders seek, presence. And presence is where mastery lives. The market doesn't reward the most emotional. It rewards the most aware. The trader who feels everything but is controlled by nothing. When you reach this level of control, the market begins to feel different. You no longer chase. You no longer force. You simply observe. Patiently, quietly, focused. And from that stillness, your best trades emerge effortlessly. This is the point where patience and awareness merge into one,
where waiting no longer feels like inaction, but like power in disguise. And that's where we go next. In the next chapter, The Waiting Game, Mastering the Power of Stillness, we'll explore how great traders turn quiet observation into precision timing, and how doing less with discipline and patience can lead to far greater success.
Chapter 4, The Waiting Game, Mastering the Power of Stillness. In trading, silence is not the absence of action, it's the foundation of it. The best traders are not always the ones who move the fastest, but the ones who wait the longest. They understand that the market rewards patience, not impulse. That timing, true deliberate timing, is born from stillness. Because in the space between one trade and the next, in the quiet after a loss, in the calm before an entry, your edge is reborn. In the early days, most traders chase the market like a hunter chasing shadows. Every candle looks like opportunity. Every flicker feels like a call to action. But soon the realization comes, not every movement deserves your attention. Not every signal deserves your trade. The professionals don't trade more. They trade less, but with deeper precision. They wait for alignment. They wait for clarity. They wait for the story behind the chart to reveal itself. And while others grow restless in silence, they find strength in it. Stillness isn't easy. It goes against everything your mind has been trained to do. We live in a world of motion, notifications, noise, constant updates. The brain craves action because action feels like control, but in trading, that instinct becomes a trap. Every impulsive click, every forced entry is a symptom of discomfort with stillness. The amateur trader fears missing out. The master trader fears breaking discipline. Imagine a sniper in the wild. He doesn't shoot at every sound or movement. He waits, motionless, focused, patient. He knows the cost of a mistimed shot. He knows that the wrong trigger pull can destroy hours of preparation. A professional trader is no different. Every moment of inaction is not waste. It's preparation. Every second of stillness sharpens the mind. Because the waiting is not empty. It's full of awareness, observation, analysis, and emotional calibration. That's the true power of stillness. In stillness, your perception deepens. You start to notice what most traders miss: the rhythm of market cycles, the emotional pulse behind price action, the subtle signs before a reversal or continuation. When you're no longer distracted by noise, you begin to feel the market instead of chasing it. The truth is, great trades don't appear often, but when they do, they speak clearly, unmistakably. And only the trader who's still enough to listen can hear them. Every top trader eventually learns this lesson. The biggest wins are born from the longest waits. It's in the quiet weeks, the slow sessions, the days when nothing seems to move, that true mastery is tested. Because patience isn't passive. It's the most active form of discipline. It's a conversation between your logic and your impulses, a test between your strategy and your ego. When you wait, you're not doing nothing. You're choosing clarity over chaos. You're conserving energy, emotional capital, and focus. Think of it like breathing before a sprint. The inhale is not wasted. It's the foundation for explosive movement. Stillness is that inhale. Action is the exhale. Without one, the other collapses. The waiting game teaches you something deeper about control, that you can't force the market to reward you. You can only align with it when it's ready. When conditions aren't clear, when volatility is thin, when emotion clouds your vision, your job isn't to act. Your job is to observe. Because every trade you don't take protects your capital, your confidence, your composure. That restraint is invisible profit, earned not on the chart, but within the mind. Waiting also reveals your relationship with boredom. Most traders don't lose to the market. They lose to their need for stimulation. When the screen feels still, they invent opportunity. They chase movement for the sake of movement. And in doing so, they trade not with logic, but with loneliness. But boredom, when understood, is a signal, not a weakness. It's your mind asking for presence. The best traders know how to sit in that boredom and transform it into awareness. They study, they journal, they observe themselves as much as they observe the market. Because they understand, the market is a mirror. It reflects not your strategy, but your state. Every trading day has two battles, the one on the screen and the one in your mind. The first is about skill. The second is about patience. And the second always decides the first. When you master stillness, you remove the need to control every candle. You stop forcing trades. You stop seeking validation in constant action. Instead, your trading becomes like a conversation with time. You wait, you listen, you respond. And that rhythm, that's where consistency is born. Stillness gives you the ability to see what others can't. While the crowd panics, you observe calmly. While others chase entries, you prepare for exits. While they act on emotion, you act on timing. This balance between observation and execution is what separates the impulsive from the intentional. The best traders don't time the market by luck. They time it by patience. They wait so long that when the opportunity comes, it feels effortless. Because waiting is no longer suffering. It's alignment. And maybe this is the deeper truth of trading. Success isn't about constant motion. It's about knowing when not to move. You win not by fighting time, but by syncing with it. When you stop trying to control every moment, you begin to flow with the rhythm of the market, observing, waiting, acting with precision. The longer you trade, the more you realize the greatest skill isn't predicting price, it's mastering patience. Stillness becomes your strategy. It becomes your edge. It becomes your peace. Because when you can wait without fear, when you can watch without needing to act, you've entered the rare mindset of mastery, a place where your trades are no longer driven by emotion, but by clarity, where time is not your enemy, but your greatest ally. And yet, there comes a moment every trader faces, when the waiting stretches too long, when silence turns to doubt, when every setup feels wrong, and your patience begins to crumble. That's when the real test begins. In the next chapter, when nothing feels right, the discipline to do nothing, we'll uncover the hardest lesson of all, the strength to stay out, to remain calm in uncertainty, and to understand that sometimes doing nothing is the most powerful move you can make. Chapter 5. When Nothing Feels Right. The Discipline to Do Nothing. There are days in trading when everything feels off. The charts look blurry, the setups don't align, your instincts feel uncertain. You scroll through pairs, tickers, time frames, searching for something that makes sense, but nothing does. In those moments, the hardest thing to do is nothing. Most traders don't lose because they lack knowledge. They lose because they can't sit still when clarity disappears. The human mind craves certainty. When it's gone, it tries to create it. That's when bad decisions are born. You start forcing trades. You convince yourself you see something, a pattern, a signal, a reason to act. But deep down, you know. It doesn't feel right. Something is off. And yet the impulse whispers, maybe this one will work. That voice isn't strategy. It's survival instinct. The same one that pushes us to act when we're uncomfortable with inaction. Every trader eventually meets this moment. The quiet between setups, the uncertainty after a loss, the boredom that feels unbearable. It's not the market testing you, it's life, disguised as a chart. Because trading at its core is not about predicting price, it's about managing your own impulses. And in those moments when nothing feels right, your discipline becomes your protection. There's a story of a trader who spent months studying the markets. He built his strategy, refined his rules, practiced patience. But when volatility slowed, he couldn't bear the silence. So he traded anyway. Little setups, random impulses, anything to feel engaged. By the end of the week, he'd undone months of progress. The market didn't beat him. His need for something to happen did. That's the hidden danger of boredom in trading. It tricks you into mistaking movement for progress. Doing nothing doesn't mean you're lazy. It means you understand the rhythm of performance. Just as a professional athlete rests between games, a trader must rest between opportunities. Not every day is meant for execution. Some days exist for reflection, for recalibration, for letting the market breathe while you do the same. Because your mind is part of your capital, and overtrading drains it faster than any losing streak. The discipline to do nothing is the highest form of control. It's the ability to observe discomfort without reacting to it, to feel the pull of impatience and not obey it, to recognize that silence is not danger, it's protection. When you reach that level of composure, you begin to understand what mastery truly means. You're no longer fighting your impulses, you're guiding them. You've turned restraint into strength. Sometimes the best trade you'll ever make is the one you decide not to take. Because every avoided mistake compounds like interest. Each moment of restraint protects your focus, your confidence, and your emotional equilibrium. It's invisible progress, the kind that doesn't show up on charts, but transforms your entire mindset. It takes courage to step back when the market moves without you, to watch price take off and whisper, "That wasn't my trade." That's not weakness. That's awareness. Because the market will always offer another opportunity, but your discipline, once broken, it takes much longer to rebuild. True professionals don't chase what's gone. They wait for what fits. They act when everything aligns, not when boredom demands attention. In these moments of stillness, you're refining something deeper than skill. You're refining identity. You stop being a trader who reacts. You become a trader who responds. You stop being led by emotion. You start being guided by intention. And that shift from reaction to response is where the transformation happens. There's beauty in waiting when nothing feels right. Because the moment you stop forcing, you start listening. The market speaks in whispers, not shouts. It rewards those who wait for clarity, not those who chase noise. When you wait long enough, the chaos settles. The fog lifts. And suddenly, what once felt uncertain becomes obvious. It's not magic, it's patience finally paying off. Every period of stagnation has a purpose. It's there to teach you calm, to reveal how much control you truly have over yourself, to remind you that performance isn't measured by activity, but by alignment. And so, the next time you feel lost, when setups don't make sense, when your intuition feels cloudy, when your confidence feels thin, don't fight it. Don't force it. Step back. Breathe. Observe. Because the market will always come back around. And when it does, you'll meet it from a place of strength, not frustration.
The discipline to do nothing is the quiet mark of a master. It's unseen, uncelebrated, but it's what separates the calm from the chaotic. You win not by doing more, but by doing what matters and knowing when to do nothing at all. And yet, doing nothing doesn't mean doing less. It means thinking deeper. It means holding your vision steady through the waves of uncertainty and time. Because the true test of a trader's patience isn't in one quiet day, but in the long stretch, when progress feels invisible and time begins to press against your will. That's the next chapter. In Chapter 6, Time, Pressure, and Patience, the Psychology of Delayed Rewards, we'll explore how the market uses time to test your strength, how pressure reveals your emotional resilience, and how to stay calm when the results you're waiting for take longer than you ever expected. Because in trading and in life, the reward doesn't come to those who act fastest, but to those who wait with purpose.
Chapter 6: Time, Pressure, and Patience, the Psychology of Delayed Rewards. Every trader dreams of consistency, that steady upward curve, that proof that their effort, discipline, and strategy are finally working. But the truth is, consistency doesn't come in a straight line. It comes in seasons. There are stretches of silence or nothing moves, days when every setup looks wrong, weeks when effort feels unrewarded. And in those moments, the market isn't testing your skill, it's testing your patience, your ability to hold faith when time feels heavy and results feel far away. Time is one of the market's greatest teachers, but it doesn't teach through words or charts. It teaches through waiting, waiting for confirmation, waiting for growth, waiting for yourself to evolve into the kind of trader who no longer needs instant validation. That's what delayed reward is all about. Because in the beginning, we all crave immediacy. We want to see the result today, to know we're improving, winning, progressing. But real mastery lives in the invisible work, the repetition that shows no reward, the long stretches of neutrality before breakthrough. That's where patience is forged. Think of a seed buried in the soil. You water it, you nurture it, and for weeks, nothing seems to happen. But underground, roots are growing, structure is forming, the foundation is being built, unseen but essential. Trading works the same way. You study, you refine, you lose, you learn. And for a long time, it may seem like nothing changes. But beneath the surface, your psychology is strengthening. Your impulses are softening. Your emotional control is deepening. Then, one day, everything aligns. You execute calmly. You follow your plan with precision. And you realize you didn't just grow as a trader, you transformed as a person. Time has a way of revealing who is serious and who is not. Because the impatient seek shortcuts. The disciplined seek understanding. The market rewards those who respect time, not fight it. Pressure in this way is not punishment. It's purification. It strips away ego, illusion, and the need for constant wins. It leaves you face to face with your true capacity to wait, to endure, to believe in your process when no one else can see its value. There's a subtle beauty in delayed rewards. They arrive quietly, not as sudden profits, but as calm confidence. They show up when you stop counting trades and start counting moments of control. When you stop asking, when will it happen, and start saying, I'm becoming the kind of person it happens for. Because time doesn't delay your reward, it prepares you for it. Every moment you resist impatience, you build inner capital. Every disciplined day you spend refining your edge, you build unseen momentum. This is how traders evolve from chasing profits to mastering patience. They realize that growth isn't measured in winning trades, but in how long they can stay calm when nothing seems to work. Imagine standing in front of a mountain stream. The water flows slowly, carving through stone. At first, you barely notice the change, but over time, the stream reshapes the land itself. That's what consistency really looks like. Small, steady movements, silent progress, invisible persistence. Pressure doesn't break you, it sculpts you. Every setback, every moment of doubt, every delay, all of it is time's way of shaping you into the version of yourself that can handle the success you've been asking for. But here's the catch. You can't rush the process. You can only respect it. The mind loves speed. The ego loves immediacy. But wisdom loves patience. When you understand that delayed rewards are not denial, but design, you begin to see time not as your enemy, but as your greatest ally. Because every moment you stay calm under pressure, you prove that you're no longer trading for outcome, you're trading for mastery. The truth is, time magnifies everything. If your habits are impulsive, time will expose them. If your mindset is patient, time will reward it. You can't cheat time, but you can partner with it. Each hour you wait for the right setup, each day you avoid overtrading, each week you refine your emotional balance. That's how you compound discipline. And discipline always compounds faster than profit. Pressure is the crucible of all great traders. It's what separates the emotional from the composed, the reactive from the resilient. Under pressure, your old habits rise. The need to prove something, the fear of missing out, the desperation to fix a red trade. But when you learn to sit through that pressure, to let it burn without breaking, you transform it into focus. Pressure becomes the fire that forges patience. And patience becomes the trait that defines mastery. Many traders underestimate how long it truly takes, not just to find a system, but to find themselves within it. The first stage is learning strategy. The second is managing risk. But the final stage is mastering emotion over time. Because trading isn't just a test of knowledge, it's a test of endurance. The question isn't, can you win? It's, can you keep going long enough for your edge to play out? And that's the essence of delayed reward. Trusting that your future self will thank you for today's restraint. So when progress feels invisible, remember this: growth doesn't announce itself. It hides in the quiet days, in the weeks when nothing makes sense, and the long hours where you choose patience over reaction. You're not stuck. You're strengthening. Every moment you wait with intention, you're aligning closer with the trader you are meant to become. Time, pressure, and patience, the three silent forces that shape every trader's evolution. The impatient ones will always burn out. The patient ones will always rise slowly, quietly, unshakably. Because patience is not passive, it's power under control. And yet, even the most patient trader eventually faces storms, moments when the market becomes chaotic, volatile, unpredictable, when every candle feels like a test and every drawdown feels personal. It's in those moments that emotional control is truly tested. In the next chapter, The Calm Within Chaos, Emotional Control Under Market Stress, we'll explore how to stay centered when volatility surges, how to build a calm inner core that no market can shake, and how to use visualization to maintain clarity even in the heat of drawdowns. Because patience under time is one thing, but patience under chaos, that's the mark of a true professional.
Chapter 7. The Calm Within Chaos, Emotional Control Under Market Stress. There's a moment every trader knows. The market turns fast. Your screen flashes red. Your heart beats harder than usual. In those seconds, logic fades, and emotion takes the wheel. This is the chaos, the storm inside the storm. But within that chaos, there's a choice: to fight against it or to find stillness within it. Because true mastery isn't about avoiding volatility. It's about remaining calm while everything around you moves. The market is a mirror. It reflects not your strategy, but your state of mind. When fear rises, it magnifies uncertainty. When greed takes over, it blinds your reason. And when stress takes control, you stop trading the market and start trading your emotions. That's when chaos wins. But the calm trader sees differently. To them, volatility is just noise. Drawdowns are just data. Every surge, every crash, every spike, it's just movement through time. They don't resist the storm. They anchor themselves within it. Let's begin there, with the art of emotional anchoring. Close your eyes if you can. Imagine you're standing in the center of a storm. Wind whipping, lightning flashing, noise everywhere. Now, imagine a circle drawn around you, a calm space that belongs only to you. Inside that circle, the wind softens, the noise fades. You can still see the storm, but it no longer moves you. That circle, that mental boundary, is your emotional center. When you trade, that's where you must live. The mind under stress wants control. It wants to fix the loss, to recover immediately. It wants to act now. But trading is a paradox. The more control you try to take, the more control you lose. Because reacting emotionally to the market is like grabbing at smoke. The harder you reach, the less you grasp. The calm trader does something different. They don't try to control the market. They control their reaction to it. When volatility spikes, take one deep breath. That single act interrupts panic. Then zoom out, literally and mentally. Change your chart time frame. Step back from the screen. You'll notice something powerful. The chaos that felt overwhelming is just a small movement in the bigger picture. Perspective, not prediction, creates peace. Think of the best traders you've studied. They're not emotionless. They've just learned to be emotionally aware. They feel the same stress as everyone else, but they don't let it lead them. They use emotion as information. Fear tells them risk is high. Excitement tells them greed is near. Frustration tells them they're out of sync. They don't suppress emotion. They observe it, like a scientist, not a victim. That awareness becomes their edge. When you're deep in drawdown, your natural instinct is to escape it, to make it back, to restore what's lost. But recovery begins not with reaction, but with reflection. Ask yourself, what part of this pain is market volatility, and what part of it is my attachment to control? Because often, the suffering isn't from the loss itself,
It's from the meaning we attach to it. When you lose, it feels personal. But in truth, it's just data, just feedback, just another candle on the chart of your growth. There's a visualization I teach traders, one that helps build emotional neutrality. Picture your trading balance as a body of water. When you're calm, the surface is still. When emotion rises, waves begin to form. Now imagine a storm hits, a series of losses, a bad trade, a spike you didn't expect. Most traders start splashing in panic, creating more turbulence. But you, the calm trader, you sit still. You let the waves rise and fall naturally. Eventually, they settle. The water clears. Your vision returns. The storm passes because you didn't feed it. That's emotional control. Another powerful practice is the reset ritual. When stress begins to build, step away, not in defeat, but in discipline. A walk, a stretch, a few deep breaths. Even a single minute of stillness resets the nervous system. Think of it as clearing the mental chart. You're removing noise from the mind so clarity can return to the screen. Professional traders aren't attached to being right. They're attached to staying composed because they know clarity always follows calm. When markets are volatile, your environment matters too. Dim lights, soft background tones, a workspace that feels grounded. Your trading desk should be a reflection of your inner state, organized, intentional, minimal. Because your outer world often amplifies your inner one. If your space is chaotic, your thoughts will follow. Every detail that creates peace protects your psychology when chaos arrives. Under market stress, you will always feel the pull of two voices. The first voice says, do something. The second voice says, wait. Your success depends on which one you obey. The first voice is ego. It seeks control, validation, redemption. The second is mastery. It seeks understanding, alignment, patience. The ego screams. The master whispers. Learn to listen to the whisper. Every drawdown is a mirror, reflecting your relationship with discomfort. If you rush to escape it, you'll repeat it. But if you face it calmly, you'll transcend it. This is where real growth happens. Not when you win, but when you learn to lose without losing yourself. That's what separates the professional from the emotional. Remember this truth. The market cannot hurt you unless you fight it. But it can teach you if you listen. When you stop reacting, you start receiving insight. You begin to see patterns not just in price, but in yourself. You notice when your breathing changes, when your mind speeds up, when your hands tighten on the mouse. Those are signals, not of market conditions, but of emotional ones. And the trader who learns to read those signals will always have an edge greater than any technical system. So the next time you're caught in volatility, remember you don't need to calm the market. You just need to calm yourself. The storm may rage, but the eye of the storm is always still. That's where your focus belongs, in the calm center, where clarity lives. Because once you can stay composed in chaos, you no longer fear it. You use it. You move through it like water through waves, unmoved, focused, free. And that is how emotional control becomes power. Not through suppression, but through understanding. Not through denial, but through awareness. It's not about trading without emotion. It's about trading with emotion, but never for emotion. You feel it, but you don't feed it. You see it, but you don't become it. That's how calm becomes your strategy. But calm is not an accident. It's a habit, built and reinforced every day. The most composed traders aren't born that way. They train it. Through discipline, through repetition, through routines that protect their state of mind. And that's where we go next. In Chapter 8, The Discipline Cycle, Building Habits That Protect Your Mind, we'll uncover the daily rituals that create emotional strength, from pre-trade checklists and journaling methods to awareness exercises that anchor your focus before each session. Because calm under chaos begins with discipline in routine, and discipline is the architecture of peace.
Chapter 8. The Discipline Cycle. Building Habits That Protect Your Mind.
Discipline. It's not the most exciting word in trading, but it's the one that separates those who survive from those who disappear. The market rewards many things: strategy, timing, analysis, but above all, it rewards consistency. And consistency isn't born from emotion. It's built from routine. The traders who last the longest don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems, not just for their trades, but for their mind. Every day in the market is a psychological battle. You're not fighting other traders. You're fighting your impulses, your fears, your need to be right. That's why discipline isn't a single act. It's a cycle, one that begins before you ever place a trade. So let's explore how to build it, step by step, ritual by ritual, until discipline becomes your natural rhythm. Step 1. The pre-trade ritual, preparing the mind, not just the charts. Every professional trader starts their session the same way, by grounding their state before engaging with the market. Think of it like a pilot's checklist before takeoff. You wouldn't fly without checking your instruments. So why would you trade without checking your emotions? Before the first candle forms, take a moment to center yourself. Ask, how do I feel right now? Are you calm, restless, eager to make up for yesterday's loss, or hungry to capitalize on momentum? Awareness is your first defense. Write it down. A single sentence in your trading journal. My emotional state, calm and alert. Or, feeling pressured, will trade lighter today. That simple act transforms emotion into observation, and observation restores control. Then review your trading plan, out loud if you can. Remind yourself of your setups, your risk per trade, your goals. Not to convince yourself, but to anchor yourself. When you speak your rules, you give them power over your impulses. And when the market starts moving, that preparation becomes your protection. Step 2. The journal. Your mirror, your teacher, your truth. Most traders skip this part, and that's why most traders repeat the same mistakes. Your journal isn't just a log of entries and exits. It's a record of your state of mind. After each session, write 3 things. What did I do well? Where did emotion interfere? And what lesson did today teach me? Keep it honest, not polished. You're not performing for anyone. You're studying yourself. Over time, you'll begin to see patterns, not just in the market, but in your behavior. You'll notice that your worst losses came not from bad setups, but from breaking your own rules. You'll see that your best trades came when you were calm, detached, and patient. The journal is where you become your own coach, and every page you fill makes you stronger. Because discipline isn't about perfection, it's about awareness and correction. Step 3. The reset ritual. How to recover your focus when the mind wavers. Even the most disciplined trader loses composure sometimes. A bad entry, a missed signal, a streak of uncertainty. When that happens, don't fight it, reset it. Step away from the screen. Breathe deeply, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Loosen your grip. In your mind, say, I release the last trade. That simple sentence severs attachment. You're not trying to win it back. You're returning to neutral. Some traders use physical anchors, a sip of water, a stretch, or a quick glance at a written reminder on their desk. Process over outcome. Whatever you choose, make it consistent, because every time you reset consciously, you train your nervous system to recover faster. That's real discipline, not avoiding emotion, but recovering from it. Step 4. The evening review. Building awareness through reflection. When the trading day ends, most people close their platform and escape. But the disciplined trader stays a few minutes longer, not to analyze charts, but to analyze themselves. Ask, did I follow my process? Did I trade from clarity or from emotion? Did I react or did I respond? If you broke your rules, don't shame yourself, study yourself. Every undisciplined action points to an unmet need: impatience, frustration, overconfidence. The key is not to punish it, but to understand it. Reflection turns failure into wisdom. Without reflection, failure just repeats itself. So before you walk away, write a single line of gratitude. Today, I learned more about myself. That small sentence keeps your growth grounded in humility, and humility sustains discipline. Step 5. The awareness exercise. Strengthening the mind's observer. This is where the inner work deepens. Discipline doesn't just come from rules, it comes from awareness, the ability to see thoughts without acting on them. Here's a simple exercise. During your trading session, set a timer for random intervals. When it goes off, stop for 3 seconds. Notice your body. Notice your breath. Notice your emotional temperature. Then, without judgment, name it. Calm. Tense. Hopeful. Afraid. Labeling emotions reduces their power. It shifts your brain from feeling to observing. And that shift from impulse to insight is the foundation of mastery. Do this daily, even outside trading hours. While driving, while eating, while thinking about the next setup. You're training the same muscle that protects you on the charts, the ability to notice before reacting. Every great trader you admire has their own version of this cycle. Different routines, different rituals, same purpose: to protect the mind, to guard their emotional capital as carefully as their financial one. Because they know the market doesn't reward intelligence alone. It rewards stability. And stability is born from structure. When discipline becomes a habit, you no longer rely on willpower. You just follow your rhythm. Imagine waking up to trade tomorrow. You sit down, light just breaking through the blinds. The world is quiet. You open your plan, review your notes. You breathe deeply once, and your body knows what comes next. You're not chasing adrenaline, you're entering flow. Every action has meaning. Every movement feels deliberate. You trade not to prove something, but to express mastery. That is the discipline cycle at work. A self-sustaining loop of awareness, action, reflection, and reset. Over time, it reshapes how you think, how you feel, and how you perform. Because discipline isn't just about control, it's about peace. Peace in the process. Peace in uncertainty. Peace in knowing that you are consistent, even when the market is not. And as this chapter closes, remember this truth. Habits protect your mind the same way stop losses protect your capital. Without them, chaos spreads fast. With them, clarity stays intact. Build your discipline like a fortress, brick by brick, day by day, until it becomes your natural state. Because once your mind is structured, your trading becomes effortless, not easy, but fluid. You stop chasing control and start living in alignment. And that brings us to the next evolution of mastery. Because once you've built the habits that sustain discipline, you begin to see success differently. It's no longer about chasing profit. It's about building patience. It's about mastering yourself, the mind behind the strategy. In Chapter 9, Beyond Profit, we'll explore how true traders measure growth not in wins and losses, but in emotional stability, presence, and peace. Because at the highest level of trading, success isn't what you earn, it's who you become.
Chapter 9, Beyond Profit, Redefining Success Through Patience. There's a point in every trader's journey when the numbers stop meaning what they used to, when profit no longer feels like proof, when you begin to realize that winning the trade isn't the same as winning the game.
That's the moment your evolution begins, when you stop chasing money and start mastering yourself. Because in trading, success isn't found on the screen, it's found in your state of mind. In the early days, every trader believes the next big win will change everything. That one perfect entry will finally erase the doubt, the fear, the frustration. But once you've been in the market long enough, you see the truth. The highs are temporary. The lows are too. And the only thing that lasts is who you become through both. The market is a mirror. It reflects your strengths, your weaknesses, your emotions. If you're impatient, it shows you. If you're fearful, it magnifies it. If you're disciplined, it rewards it. The charts don't test your strategy. They test your state of being. And when you finally accept that, trading becomes more than a pursuit for profit. It becomes a journey of inner mastery. Think back to your early trades, the adrenaline, the hope, the rush when you won, the sting when you lost. Every trade felt personal, as if the market was judging you. But over time, you begin to see a deeper pattern. The market isn't punishing you, it's teaching you. Teaching you patience, humility, and awareness. Each mistake becomes a lesson in self-control. Each missed opportunity, a lesson in restraint. Each winning streak, a reminder that confidence can turn into arrogance if left unchecked. The market's greatest gift isn't profit, it's perspective. To go beyond profit, you must redefine what winning means. A win isn't a green number on the screen. A win is staying calm after a loss. A win is walking away when your plan says no. A win is waiting, not because you're scared to act, but because you respect your process. Success is measured not in how much you make, but in how little the market can shake you. The trader who can lose without losing composure has already won a game most never even understand. Let's talk about longevity. Most traders focus on immediate results. They want daily profits, fast growth, instant confirmation. But the real professionals, the ones who build wealth, not luck, think in decades, not days. They know trading is not a sprint. It's a rhythm, a flow, a relationship between patience and timing. When you embrace that rhythm, you stop forcing the market to move faster than it does. You start aligning your expectations with reality. You no longer chase trades. You receive them. You no longer fear time. You use it. Longevity is built on emotional endurance, and emotional endurance is built on patience. There's an old saying, the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. But there's a hidden truth behind it. The trader who learns patience never needs to fight the market's rhythm, because they move with it. They understand that there's always another trade, another setup, another moment of opportunity. The impatient trader burns out trying to capture everything. The patient trader grows by waiting for their moment. In the end, both experience the same market. Only one experiences peace. Peace, that's the real goal. Not excitement, not perfection. Peace. The calm knowing that your edge isn't in predicting the future, but in controlling your present. When you reach this point, something changes. You stop reacting. You start observing. The losses still come, but they don't define you. The wins still happen, but they don't control you. You begin to find stillness between the candles, and that stillness becomes power. Let's go deeper. Ask yourself right now, what does success mean to you? Is it the size of your account or the size of your growth as a person? When you close your charts at the end of the day, are you exhausted or are you at peace? If trading feels like chaos, it's a sign the market is still your master. But when trading feels like meditation, you've reclaimed control. True success is when your emotional balance stays the same, whether you win or lose. Because when your mood no longer depends on the market's direction, you've achieved the rarest form of freedom. Let me tell you a story. There once was a trader named Elias. He started like everyone else, driven by dreams of wealth. Every loss felt like failure. Every win felt like proof. But after years of volatility, he began to notice something strange. The trades that made him the most money were the ones where he felt the least emotion. So he started journaling not his trades, but his state of mind. And soon a pattern emerged. When he traded from excitement or fear, his performance dipped. But when he traded from stillness, from patience, his results improved effortlessly. Elias realized he wasn't a trader trying to beat the market. He was a student learning from it. And from that day forward, he stopped chasing profits and started chasing peace. Over time, peace brought profits naturally, not because the market changed, but because he did. That's the truth most never discover. When you master patience, you begin to move beyond the chase. You stop needing every trade to validate your worth. You stop defining yourself by your equity curve. You find fulfillment in the process itself. You become detached from outcomes. And in that detachment, you gain the highest level of control. This is where mastery lives, not in prediction, but in presence. Not in reacting, but in observing. Not in chasing profit, but in embodying patience. In trading and in life, patience creates space, and in that space, clarity is born. Clarity creates discipline. Discipline builds confidence. Confidence brings peace, and peace leads to longevity. That is the chain of growth that turns traders into masters. So the next time the market tests your resolve, remember, you are not here to predict or to control. You are here to understand yourself, to understand time, to understand that everything you want, peace, profit, purpose, is on the other side of patience. As this chapter closes, reflect on how far you've come, from chasing quick wins to cultivating quiet strength, from reacting to uncertainty to flowing with it. You are no longer just trading the market. You are trading yourself. You are shaping your thoughts, your habits, your responses. You are mastering the art of patience. And in doing so, you are mastering life itself. But this journey isn't over, because now that you understand patience as the core of mastery, the question becomes, how do you live it every day? How do you embody the calm trader? That's where we go next. In Chapter 10, the next step, becoming the calm trader, will bring everything together. You'll learn how to live, breathe, and think like a trader who no longer fights emotion, but flows with it. Because your greatest edge isn't in the charts, it's in your patience. And when you become the calm trader, you become unstoppable.
Chapter 10. The next step. Becoming the calm trader. You've come a long way. From the restless beginner chasing every flicker of opportunity to the grounded trader learning the rhythm of patience and control. You've walked through fear. You've faced greed. You've learned that the market isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. And now, as this journey draws to a close, you stand before the next step, the one that separates the trader who reacts
from the trader who responds. This step isn't about strategy. It isn't about tools, indicators, or news. It's about becoming something few ever do, the calm trader. So what does it mean to be calm? It doesn't mean you're emotionless. It means you've built emotional balance. It means that no matter how fast the candles move, you move slower inside. When others chase, you observe. When others panic, you breathe. When others act out of fear, you wait for clarity. The calm trader isn't the one who avoids chaos. They're the one who remains centered within it. You see, the market doesn't reward speed. It rewards clarity. It rewards those who can think clearly when everything around them moves in noise and confusion. That's why your edge was never in the charts. It was never in your strategy or your broker or your setup. Your edge was always within you, in your patience, your discipline, your ability to stay grounded when the world around you isn't. Let's visualize it. Imagine sitting before your trading screen. The market is alive. Candles flicker like waves under shifting light. The world beyond the charts hums with uncertainty, news, volatility, fear. But you sit still, your breath steady, your posture relaxed. You're not trying to force anything. You're simply present. You see opportunity come and go, and you no longer feel the need to grab it all. You've learned that missing a trade isn't the same as missing success. You've learned that every trade you don't take is a decision made in mastery, because now you understand patience is power. Being the calm trader isn't about winning every day. It's about protecting your peace every day. It's about realizing that consistency isn't built through intensity. It's built through rhythm, your routines, your self-awareness, your ability to reset after a loss and detach after a win. That's what keeps you alive in this game. Not speed, not prediction, but the art of emotional equilibrium. And here's the secret. The calm trader doesn't just exist inside the market. They exist outside it too. How you live is how you trade. If your life is chaotic, your trades will be too. If your mind is scattered, your focus will drift. But when your lifestyle is intentional, your habits, your sleep, your mindset, your trading follows that same energy. That's why true mastery begins long before market open. It starts with who you are becoming as a person. You might think you need more technical skill, a better system, a sharper edge. But what you really need is presence. Because presence sharpens everything. When you're present, you don't rush, you don't chase, you simply see. And in trading, seeing clearly is worth more than any secret indicator ever will be. Presence brings patience. Patience brings control. And control brings confidence. That's the cycle of the calm trader. So let's reflect. Every chapter of this journey, from patience to emotional control to discipline, was never just about trading. It was about transforming how you relate to uncertainty. Because the truth is, trading isn't about money. It's about learning how to stay steady while everything else moves. The charts are just a reflection of life. Waves of movement, bursts of emotion, moments of chaos followed by calm. And just like in life, you can't control every move, but you can control how you respond to it. That's what it means to become the calm trader. So how do you live this way day after day? Start small. Commit to a daily ritual that grounds you before the markets open. It could be 5 minutes of deep breathing. It could be journaling your thoughts before you trade. It could be reading a line that reminds you of who you're becoming. Then, end your trading day with reflection. Write down one thing you did well and one thing you learned. Not to measure success, but to strengthen awareness. Awareness is how growth stays permanent. The calm trader doesn't seek perfection. They seek presence. They understand that mastery is not a destination, it's a practice. Every chart, every candle, every trade is another chance to train your mind, to refine your response, to strengthen your patience. You're no longer chasing an outcome. You're shaping a mindset. And when that mindset becomes who you are, profits follow naturally. Now, let's step back for a moment.
You've listened, you've reflected, you've grown. But remember, the journey of mental mastery doesn't end here. It never ends. The calm trader is always learning, always refining, always returning to the basics with deeper understanding. That's why communities like PsychRich exist, to remind you that this journey is shared. Every trader you admire was once overwhelmed, uncertain, emotional. But they chose growth over reaction, stillness over noise, mastery over chaos. Now it's your turn. So if this audiobook spoke to you, if it made you breathe a little deeper, think a little clearer, or trade a little calmer, then this is your moment to continue the journey. Join the PsychRich community. Subscribe for deeper lessons on trading psychology, discipline, and self-mastery. Because this isn't just trading. It's transformation. And you are becoming the calm trader. This is PsychRich. Trade with patience, trade with presence, trade with peace. Your edge begins within.